Who wouldn't want constant exposure on social media, whether you're a content creator, influencer, or a business owner? But let's be real. How many of us have the time to consistently posting trending topics across all platforms every single day? Thanks to the AI automation, it's now entirely possible to build a system that does this for you, running seamlessly in the background and requiring minimum human input if that's what you prefer. It's like having a full-time social media manager working for you for free. Without further ado, let's dive into the social media automation system I built for my business, Sagrada AI, and break down the steps so you can create one for yourself or for your business. But before we get into that, I'd appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me continue to grow my knowledge and skills so I can keep delivering real value to you. All right, let's get started. So this system that I built, every night I set the timer or schedule. Every night at 9:55, usually I would be in bed. The system is gonna send me an email and give me 10 latest AI automation news. And I look through them. If I like anything, then I'll just click yes. Then what happens after that is the system will automatically running and producing the content and the posts. The last automation, which runs at 11:55 local time, which is my time, as soon as I approve it for posting, choose yes in a column on the Airtable, then it will automatically posting to my Instagram, Facebook, and X, LinkedIn. So the next morning I will be checking it out and see how it looks like. So it's easy peasy. When you lie in bed and everything's running in the background for you, all you need to do is select the post, approve the post, and everything will be ready to go. Done and dusted. The system that I'm using is called Make.com. I'm sure a lot of you probably already heard about it in the AI automation world. It's actually really brilliant software. So this is the homepage of Make. If you haven't had an account or sign up with them, you can get it for free. So what happens is that they give you about 1,000 operations. I think that's enough for you to actually play around with that. If you do have accounts, just log in. Okay, so this is the dashboard of Make. When you go into scenarios, I put all the automations for my social media posts into this folder called social media post. The amount of steps I have in here is a bit more than the other YouTubers, if you notice. That's only because I'm actually using Midjourney rather than using DALL-E. If you have a bit of experience with the image generation AI, you would have found that actually Midjourney does much better job than DALL-E, more professional and acceptable. Because of the Midjourney, that's the reason why I have extra 2 more steps for that. So let's go into the first one. Click on scenarios. Click this button called create a new scenario. So this plus button is where you're going to add your first module. In our case, we're going to add a RSS newsfeed, which is this one, the watch RSS feed items. So with this URL, you have to go to Google to set up a Google alert. When you're in a Google search engine or search page, you can type in Google alert. For example, we want to watch something, world, economy. I want to create alert. And if you click on this little pen button or pen icon, and that's where you're going to change settings, it can happen as it happens, or once a day, once every week, or you can change the source, language, and all that, region. So the most important one is this deliver to. Since we're going to use our RSS feed, so we're going to deliver to the RSS feed. Update alert. So this little almost look like a Wi-Fi button, and you're going to click on that. It will have a pop-up page and says this XML file. What you're going to do is copy the link. I hope you can see it. Go back to this RSS feed module, and you're going to paste the URL link here. And the next is maximum number of returned items. It's really up to you. So for me, I actually set mine up to 10 news items. For this demonstration purpose, we're just going to choose 2 for this stage, and you can go OK. Then you're going to choose all RSS feed items because you don't know from now to you finish building this and you want to run a test and how many news is actually popped up. For testing purposes, we're just going to choose all RSS feed items and go OK. Next thing you're going to do is click on this little plus button and add another module. We're going to click on flow control. We're going to add a router. A router is something that is going to split directions into 2 parts. Or you can even add more parts, more pathways if you like. For the first one, we're going to use a text aggregator because when a newsfeed output data comes out, it will have 2 sets of data. In May, the language for that is called bundles. So the bundles of data. So we will have 2 bundles of data. What we're trying to do is we're trying to aggregate the bundles together and push it through email alert. Tools. And we're going to use text aggregator. Source module will be the previous one, which is the RSS feed and the text. We're going to actually turn on this show advanced setting toggle. In the row separator, we're going to choose a new row and we're going to group it by bundle. In the text, I'll show you in the Gmail the output and how it looks like when you actually receiving the email alert. Let's see, where was the last one? This is last one received, as you can see, 9:55 last night. Obviously, we have a title of the news and URL. For me, it was 10 pieces of news. So this text box will indicate how the output's gonna look like for you to send an email. So we're going to use a bit of the HTML language here. Let's use angle bracket B. Actually, that stands for bold. So what we're trying to do here is making the title, the word title, showing up as a bold font rather than just a normal one. Then colon, we're going to choose from the RSS feed, the title element, and we're also gonna use an angle bracket, put BR in it. That's for break line, which means after the title for the URL is gonna showing up in a new line rather than bundled it together. So another B, angle bracket, URL. So the URL will look bold. Colon, and this time we're going to choose URL from RSS feed. Again, we would like a line break, BR. Also, you might have noticed in the actual email and between the news and there's a space in between them, make it more tidier. So that's the reason why we're putting down another BR in the 3rd line to break it up. Now we're gonna go OK. A very important thing is you're going to click the save button as often as you can because actually it doesn't automatically save your work. So if you don't want to lose your work, just trying to click on the save button as often as you can actually, so you don't lose any work. Next one, we're going to add another module, and this time around we're going to use Gmail to send an email. The reason for that is I want to receive an AI news alert every night by a certain time. So what I'm going to do is going down and send the email. So here you're going to create a connection with your Gmail account. All you need to do is just click on add, and there's a sign-in with Google, and you just type into your sign-in detail and give permission to access to your email. If you're doing this for the first time, you might have to go through a bit of steps to actually link the API and give authorization and all that. The good thing is that Make is actually having a very comprehensive, like a guide for you to follow step by step. So you can just click on that and go through all the steps in this document to set it all up. For the purpose of this video, we're not going to go that. You can follow the guideline and go step by step. It's not too difficult. And the next thing is you're going to add a recipient. Obviously, in this case, I wanted to receive the news update in an email form to myself. So I'm going to type in my email address here. If you want to send it to more recipient, you can. You just have to add the recipient here. And the subject line will be something is up to you. Because for me, I call it AI News Alert. And the good thing is that you can add emoji to make it more animated. Maybe we want alarm or siren. Not alarm, maybe siren. Yep. Okay. So for content, we are going to put a little bit formula in this. Don't be alarmed or scared, because for the HTML language, if you don't understand anything, like I have no idea about this thing, but I watched some YouTube videos, and the most important tools that you can use is actually ChatGPT. So you open up ChatGPT and ask it to write HTML language for you to achieve a certain desired result you want. Usually it works fine. So we are going to use the formula. By the way, if you're new to Make has a very good, and in their resources page, they have the Make Academy that you can go through like module by module to learn the basics of how to building the automation. I think it's quite brilliant. So we're going to use format date formula. See, when I typed format date, when I put in a bracket and it's just pop up. The reason for that is we're going to, because I want email send it to me actually has a date format on it. So I know like what date this news is for. So you can go to this one. It's the date and time. So we're going to use the now semicolon. Then you can type in the format that you desire. For me, in New Zealand, we usually use for date is date / month / year. Okay, so that way the email will have the date on it. Next one, we're going to use angle bracket H1 that stands for headers. And also I'm going to use strong, which means that the whole sentence will be bold. Like if you see in the actual email here are the top news for today, and is actually bold. Here are the top news for today. And you're going to close this sentence with / and strong. Basically, it's just used as strong as a formatting tool to wrap around the sentence you are typing, and also closing bracket, not closing bracket / H1. So that's the closing bracket for the header. Then we're going to use the text, the output of the text aggregator, which is the text, because that will be the content, the actual detailed content of the email. And I also add something, it's probably not necessary, but if you would like to, happy reading, emoji, a big smile. So yeah, so okay. Save. The next one is, because the way I designed this thing is I want to receive email alert for all the news. And also I want all the data came out of the RSS feed going to a Google Sheet. That's where I can keep track of it and pick particular news that I want to publish the social media content on. So in this button, you're going to click Google Sheet, and we're going to use add a row here. I'll show you how to set up a Google Sheet to actually capture that output. So if you go into Google, click on Sheets. Then if you click on a blank spreadsheet, and you can change the name here. You can call it whatever you like. You can just call it News Selection. So we're going to add a header for the column A, which is title. So the news title. Make it a little bigger. And column B will be URL, the actual URL for the news. The third column, we're going to put on the date, but it's up to you. It's not that necessary, but I would like to know the date it was created. So if you click on column D and go to data, go to data validation, add a rule. We want to add from probably D2 rather than D1 because D1 will be a title row. So D2 all the way down. So we're going to set the first option as yes. And the second option will be no. It's actually, I found, doesn't really necessary to have the no option because you're probably only going to use the yes anyways. This is how you set up the Google Sheet. Then you can go back to Make, and now with this Google Sheets that you have here, the module, the first thing you're going to do if you haven't linked with your Google Sheets or your Gmail account, and that's where you're going to sign in with Google and give the permission to Make, to actually doing any updates, change, deleting, all kinds of things to your Google Sheets. So once you set up the link and you're going to leave the search by path and My Drive, and click here to choose the file, which we, I think we have set it up called News Selection. And because we only have one sheet in here, which is the sheet 1, so there's nothing really to choose except sheet 1. Then here, under the values for titles, we're going to choose the title from RSS. As soon as you kind of hover over it, you notice that RSS is actually flashing. That means this is where the data is going to come from. So title, and the URL will be the URL that was extracted from RSS, and the date will be, you can either choose date updated or created. I'm just going to go with date created. So that's all the data we need from RSS. Now we're going to go OK. Save. Let's give it a run. See how it goes. So click on this run once. So when the little thing pop up like that, that means the operation has been successful. And if you click on that little magnifying glass, and it will actually give you very detailed information. The output of RSS is actually 2 bundles because we have choose the 2 pieces of news. So the first one will be 5 ways technology, blah, blah, blah. And the bundle 2 will be the second. Interesting. Anyways, so this is the second piece of news that was extracted from RSS, and it went through the router and went through the text aggregator, and the output, it was 2 bundles. Now we combine them into 1 bundle. So the output of that will be, you can see from here, here's the news for today, blah, blah, blah. And let's check on my email. We don't need that anymore. So go back to my email. Here we go. This is the news alert we just created. So if you want to look through them and see, this piece of news is interesting, let me click on the URL and read through it and see whether that would be worth a piece of news to publish your social media post on. And also, if we go back to look on the Google Sheets, the data has been updated. Now we have 2 pieces of news with the title, URL, and also the date of creation. Maybe for this column D, we're just going to choose, because it was adding the row, so it most likely was actually formatted in a previous row, which was a header. So that's why the data validation didn't go through the format. So we're going to go back to the data validation again. Add rule. Okay, so we're going from sheet D1, then green for yes. Okay, red or pink, we're going for no. Right. So basically, this is the first scenario you need to create. Also, very importantly, that you might want to actually give it a name. For example, we're going to call it social media bot part 1. Okay. Now, save change, obviously. Now is for step 2. We're going to build the second scenario. Once again, create a new scenario. Because remember, for make, you can only have 1 trigger in 1 scenario. That's the reason why I have to build 5 of them. Otherwise, it's if it can have multiple triggers in 1 scenario, you're probably going to see everything in 1 scenario. This is just how make is created. So we're going to build the second one. So essentially, the second one is just the one that will start drafting your social media content. So the first one will be a trigger. The first one will be based on Google Sheets. The Google Sheets actually that we were just using before. We're going to use watch changes. Here. Again, you're going to add a webhook. So webhook is essentially kind of like a trigger because it's called what change. As soon as there's any change in the Google Sheets, and it will trigger the following scenario to run by itself. So we're going to call it news selection, and that's the hook, right? So you can copy the address to clipboard and go okay. Save. You need to go back to the actual Google Sheets. If you haven't downloaded the extension, so we need the make.com add-ons to the Google Sheets. And this is how you're going to do it. In this Google Sheet, and click on extensions, add-ons, and manage add-ons. Here you're going to search make. Here we go. Make for Google Sheets. Click on it and go install. Needs your permission in order to start installing. Go continue. Obviously, you have to log in. Continue. And give the permission to make, to do all sorts of things. Allow. Done. So you click out of it. And this time, if you click on extension and make for Google Sheets will show up. Then you can go to settings. And so this is the webhook URL. Sheets is optional because you only have 1 sheet, so it doesn't really matter. But for the range, because we're going to use the column D. So as soon as we select yes, we want to publish this piece of news, then we're going to set up the range as D1 all the way to maybe D1000. Then you can go save. Embedded page, no specific sheet. Okay, then we're going to sheet will be sheet 1, obviously. Okay, save. So settings saved successfully. Okay. Now we go back to make.com. Next one we will be using is called Perplexity. The reason why I'm using this is because you can link with ChatGPT directly, but what I found is ChatGPT can't really read through stuff directly from URL. But I found it's more probably convenient to use Perplexity AI, because what Perplexity AI does is it can directly get a URL and start to summarizing an article, which is very convenient. With a Perplexity AI is actually, you do need to top up a little bit credit, but that credit actually lasts you forever. So it's not too bad. I mean, you pay about $5 and it will last you for a very long period of time, so which is quite cheap. I think it's worth it. We're going to use Perplexity web chat connections, create chat completion. So you're going to add my Perplexity connection. If you haven't signed up with the Perplexity before, and this is how you're going to do it, in the Google search page, you can search for Perplexity, perplexity.ai, and you're going to set up account, sign up, and you can go with your Google or Apple account. Continue. Skip. Right. So this is the main page of Perplexity. The way that you could look for the API is click on this little gear button beside your profile and the API tab. And this is where you're going to set up the payment. Obviously, you're going to input your credit card detail and go submit in order for you to be able to use Perplexity. Once you've done the top-up payment, I just put $5 and click on the API page or tab, and this is where you're going to see your available credits, and also the most important one is the API key. And you're going to copy your API key and go back to make. So that's my API key, save. Now it's connecting. Right, we're going to use Mixture. We're going to add items underneath message, and the content will be summarize this article column, and we're going to choose the article that we picked from the previous Google Sheets. So that will be, obviously we're going to use the URL, so that would be in the column B. When you click on this little drop down thing, so we're going to choose column B. Then you can go leave the rest blank and go OK. Or the row. The row will be, it's a user. Again, we're going to use a router next. Here, we're going to use, because we have 4 social media platforms that we want to post our content. There is another one for Midjourney, but we're just going to work through it one by one. So the first one, obviously, we're going to use ChatGPT. we are going to use message assistant. I noticed actually a lot of YouTubers were actually using just the chat GPT, create chat completion. But I found is actually use assistant is much more efficient. The output of the content is more precise. It looks more like a professional post. So I've learned this trick from this YouTuber, Jack Roberts. I have joined a school community, AI Automations by Jack. So it is going to cost a bit of money, but I think it's totally worth it. The prompt that he actually wrote for all the social media agents, very professional, very down to the details. And there's so much like golden nuggets that you can use. So I highly recommend you join his school community. That's where I learned how to actually set up the ChatGPT agent to make better posts rather than just generic using ChatGPT to produce a generic post. We're going to use message assistant. However, before we can go on do that, I need to show you that you have to set up assistant on OpenAI, not ChatGPT, OpenAI actually, Assistant Playground. So you do need to be on a subscription to actually using the OpenAI Assistant, if I'm correct. So on the assistants, so as you can see, I have different type of assistant, AI assistant to create different type of thing. So for Facebook, and this is the Facebook post generator. This is where you're going to type the name, and this is going to be the instruction. So what I did actually is Jack himself developed a really good prompt. If you join a community, and he will have the prompt template for you to use. This is the entire prompt. Copy and paste into the instruction. You leave to ChatGPT 4.0. Once you've done that, you basically create your own ChatGPT assistant for particular social media post. And when you go back to make.com, that's where you're going to link to your OpenAI connection. Once again, API key. So this is where you're going to find your API key for OpenAI. When you're in the playground of OpenAI and have a look at on your top right corner and click on your profile, and you got your detailed securities and user API key, and click on user API key. And so this is where your API key is. For the first time, you're going to create a new secret key for your project and click on create secret key. Because I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it again. If you need an organizational ID, and click on general on the left-hand side underneath organization, and you can see here organization ID, and this is where you can copy it from. Lucky thing is I saved the API key here. And the organization ID, and go save. Right, so we're going to use assistant. So here is going to pull out all the assistant that you create from OpenAI. So we're going to use the Facebook post generator, that's what I call it. And we're going to choose assistant as a role. And the message will be, so we don't need to have a prompt anymore in here because we already have prompt in assistant. So we just have to reference to the data they need to work with, which is from Perplexity. And we're going to click this open, choices open, and we're going to click this one as well. Underneath the message, there's a content you can choose from. So you are indicating that the OpenAI assistant will be working with this piece of message. And go OK. So the next thing we want to do is using Airtable to store the data, the generated post from the assistant. Let's click on this, and we're going to use, before we do the step, I have to show you how to set up the Airtable for this particular scenario. So this is the Airtable. I have two tabs here. One is to store the records of the social media content. So the other one, image, is where I store the URL of the image that has been generated by Midjourney. And let's just set up Airtable first. You can sign up for free, or you can sign in. I'm using the free version. Although if you're on the paid version, there is a bit more automation that you can use directly from Airtable. So this is Airtable. So once you're in it, you're going to create a new table. So start from scratch. We're going to call the column A. So you click on this drop down little arrow and click on edit field. We will be calling it social media platform. And it's going to a single line text. That's where I'm going to indicate whether it's for Facebook, Instagram, X, or LinkedIn. So the second column, that's going to be the actual post generated by the OpenAI assistant. So it's the actual post, and it's going to be a long text. So you can delete this assignee, delete this field, but leave the status. Let me just add one more. We're going to call it approved, because you do want to read through the draft. It is good to have that step in between for you to actually check the draft. If you don't like something, you can always change it before a post it into the social media platforms. So that's the reason we have this column called approved, and we're going to use single select. Add option will be yes, and add another option will be no. Create field. We're going to drag this one in here. And the last column, which is very important because that will become the trigger later on. So we're going to edit field again. We're going to add last modified time and click yes. And we're going to call it last modified. Last modified. Or we can just create a new column. On the other sheet, we're going to do it later. And we're going to also change the name of the table to draft. Save. All right, let's go back to make.com. And this time we're going to link to Airtable. And the one we will be using is update record. And that's where you're going to link with Airtable token or key. How are you going to find the API key for the Airtable is you click on your profile and you're going to the Builder Hub. And here under personal access token, you're going to create a new token. And you can give it a name. I'm just going to call it test for this one. So you're going to add all the scope. Basically, just choose everything in this drop-down list. Until you have nothing to pick anymore, then you basically give the full access and permission to access the Airtable. So I'm gonna choose this untitled base is the one that I just set up. You can rename it before, so make it more clear. So create token. Copy. I learned this from VoiceFlow. We copy it because it's not going to show up again. So you better paste into a Word or Note document so you can use it again So once we have that, we go back to make. And connection type will be Airtable token or key. That's you can change the name if you want, and you're going to paste your personal access token here and go save. So this is going to create a link between Make and Airtable. So the base will be untitled base, or you can name something else, and the table will be draft. Okay, so for the record ID, obviously, if you go back to the Airtable, let's go back to go back home, go back to the database we just created. Oh, we haven't populated this one just yet. So for the social media platform, you want to give it indication. For the first one, it's going to be the Facebook post. And the second one will be Instagram. And the third one, X. LinkedIn. When the ChatGPT, OpenAI, created the post for Facebook, we want that particular result to go into here, this particular cell, because this number one record, you're going to go click on expand. Then the record ID is actually in the URL, starts from this REC, stands for record, I suppose, and copy all that. And so that's actually the record ID in Airtable. And we go back to make and paste in here and go search. Right. Don't worry about those. The actual post data will come from the OpenAI assistant that is generated before. So which is the value. Then you go, okay. Right. Don't forget to save your work. You can do a test run and see whether it works. Oh, watch changed. So you're going to have to go back to the Google Sheets, actually select the actual post. Okay, so we just run the test. Now the Google Sheet had watched the change and we find a row value, and so it pushed the data into Perplexity, and the Perplexity actually did a summarize on the article, and this is the content it generated. Push it through to ChatGPT and OpenAI assistant, and this is the Facebook post, the emoji and the hashtags is quite perfect. And once it's done, it pushed the finished post into Airtable. So let's have a look at in the Airtable. Here we go. So the post is finished. And what's really good about Airtable is that you don't have to stretch the column or the row to have a look at the content. You can just click on expand and you can see the full content here. Right, let's continue. Next thing we're going to build is Instagram post. So we can just copy this one, right click on it and clone. Put it over here and you can delete this existing one. All you need to do is it's the same connection with OpenAI, and except this time we're going to choose the Instagram content generator, which is that one. So it's the same principle here. You're going to build assistant in here, an OpenAI assistant playground. I am just using the same instruction as I learned from Jack Roberts' community school. If you're interested, I'll put link on the screen so you can go into his YouTube video, find his school community and join. And he has all kinds of templates to build those assistants. So it's the same content from Perplexity is the summarization of the article. And same thing with Airtable. We can just try copy paste again. Right click and clone. And this time it's the same base, same table. The only difference is the record ID. So we're going to the Airtable and find the second record for Instagram, expand. And on the URL link, you're going to copy everything after rec. Then go back to make. We're going to change the record ID and go search. Okay, close. So we're going to post the content that is generated by this OpenAI content text and the value, and go okay. Don't forget to save. Once again, clone. Maybe we'll just clone 2 more. Clone and clone. So that'd be for you can click on this auto align to make it more prettier. And that's going to be the one more. Oh, actually, yep. We delete this one. And that's the same thing. Let's clone and clone. One is connected there and one is connected there. If it looks a little bit wacky, don't worry. Just click on this auto align and it will pretty it up. So we've got Instagram for that one. Right. And it's going to post into Instagram record ID. And that the third one we're going to build is for X. So we're going to choose the same principle applies. We're going to choose the X post generator, row assistant, same content generated summarization from Perplexity. And we're going to update the Airtable record ID, which is the third row for X. Expand. Going to copy everything from URL from rec to the end. Copy, go back, and going to paste it here and go search and go close. And we're going to post the content that's generated by OpenAI into the post column. So content, text, value, go okay. So the final one we have here is the same connection. We're going to use the LinkedIn post generator. Same summarization from Perplexity, go okay, and Airtable, going back to find the record ID for the row 4 for LinkedIn. So we're going to copy this and go back to make, and we're going to paste the record ID here and search. Close. And we're going to update the post that's from OpenAI. Value. Oh, need to delete that. Hang on. Okay. Right. Go okay. Right. Save. Maybe let's do a test run to see whether it can work properly. Go back to the Google Sheets, and this time around, we're going to run once, and we're going to choose another article. which is the second article we decide to publishing. While I'm doing that, you can see it's actually going through the entire router. It does take a little bit of time for OpenAI to start generating posts, but we will see the finished result very soon. If you go back to Airtable now, you can tell that, let's refresh. Here we go. The CPPCC, what does that even mean? Stands as the vital pillar in China political landscape. Okay, this is a bit of political post. I for sure will not post that. How do you think the CPPCC's role will evolve next? So add some intriguing questions, some emoji, hashtags. It looks pretty good. Okay, so that's for generating all the content for the social media post. The next thing we're going to do, because I decided to use Midjourney rather than DALL-E, so it kind of adds an extra layer of complexity. I learned how to do that from Jack Roberts' community school. He has a really good video explaining the step how you can connect to Midjourney, use a third-party software or API to create all that. I'm just going to briefly run you through the whole process, but I'm not going to explain it in details. You can watch this video. You must have heard Midjourney before. Let's just show you. You need to have a Discord account for Midjourney. If you want to use Midjourney image through a third-party add-on kind of API to connect with Make, you have to be on a paid plan. Once you join Discord and add Midjourney into your Discord channel, it will look like this. So as you can see, the Midjourney has been generating images for my social media automation in the past already. If you have a look at Make, in the Make module, if you add a module and have a look, if you search for Midjourney, there is not a direct module that you can connect to Midjourney. And so this is an API layer, add an API layer to Midjourney. That's how you're going to connect with Midjourney. So the third-party API website you can use is called, I believe is this one, User API. Right. They do have a step-by-step kind of process how you can connect with Midjourney and also how you can top up the credit for using that. Not only just generating and push through the API, connect Midjourney with Make, but also because Midjourney creating image, as you can see here, that Midjourney usually generating image by 4. But for your content post, I mean, you want to have a 1 image. We're going to upscale the image into 1. So the module here from User AI can help you to do that as well. Let's go back to Make. What we're going to do next is link. If you just type in Midjourney, obviously mine is already connected. So we're just going to use User API layer to Midjourney to get image. So it's imaging. Previously we had made a prompt. Let's see whether I actually update this one. No. So I copy, I cloned it, but forgot to change it. It's actually, I'm going to use the Midjourney image generator again. That's a system you can build in OpenAI, and Jack Roberts has a really good prompt for that in his school community. So Midjourney generator, go OK, and we're going back to the User API. For Midjourney, we're going to use the summarization to give the story a little bit more context. Unlike the previous steps that we use in each individual assistant, this we're going to give an entire summary from Perplexity, so it would have a little bit longer text to generating image. So we're gonna go choice and go message content. Oh, why was that? Two choices. Okay. Webhook URL. For this one, we have to go to the next step first of all. Right. Before we do anything else, we should save the scenario, and also we're going to change the name as well, so it's easier for us to identify the scenario that we are building. So this is going to be the social media bot part 2. Save again, then save anyway. We're going to build the third scenario, which will be linked back to this API layer to Midjourney. We're going to go back and create a new scenario. So this time again, we're going to use the webhooks. So webhooks is basically like a trigger. So it's been listening for something to trigger it for the following module to function. So we're going to choose the customer webhook. So add, we're going to call it grab Midjourney images. Go save. Now copy address to clipboard. Now we can go back to, mind you, you can actually right click on scenario to open up, so you can have 2 tabs open at the same time. Sometimes when you're building multiple scenarios, this way is actually make it easier for you to see between the scenarios. So now we're going back to the second scenario that we built. Right, we have a proper hook, except prompt to generate image, we will be extracting the summarization from Perplexity content. Okay, so for the webhook URL, and this is going to be the place you paste the webhook URL. And what else do we need? I think we need choose post data once when generation is complete. So now go OK. Continue to build the third module. What you're going to do is you're going to run this. Because on the other side of the webhook, it's currently listening. So we're going to run this. Actually, since we already run the first 4 modules and it worked perfectly, so we're going to, at this stage, disable the root. So we don't have to test it again to waste operations. Okay. And we are going to just test from this module over here. If you going to run this module, it will be asking you to have an input from Perplexity. One way you can do this is just save the scenario first of all. Instead of you wasting a lot of data to do testing, you can click on history for this diagram. And because last time we have successfully run this module, so you can click on details. All we're trying to do is extract the output from Perplexity last time. So click on choices, messages. So you're going just to copy this message here. This is the summarization for the article. And now we're going back to diagram. And when we run this module only and add items So we're going to paste the output of Perplexity here. So it will use that data to run that module, specific module. So as you can see, the result here is because it's this particular OpenAI assistant is trying to generate an image prompt for Midjourney to generate an image value. Yeah, a conference room, blah, blah, blah. See, generating, taking on iPhone at this picture ratio. So we're going to copy this output because we're going to use that to run this module now. Run this module only, and it will ask you to put in the input of the data, which is that one there. We just copy, so go OK. So it's generated some things. Now we have a unique hash of the task. So this is a hash number. We're going to copy this one as well. This scenario now is complete. We're going to click Save. And okay, let's go back to webhook. Here we go. If you go back to User API, User API has a dashboard which actually shows you whether the image has been correctly generated. See here. And now we're going back to make. Once the image has been generated, the Midjourney generally producing image like this. So you will see simultaneously 4 images. We only need one, so we're going to use the upscale module to only choose the first image from the 4 image that generated by Midjourney and use that to push through to the social media post. The next step will be we're going to use that Midjourney, the user AI API again. So this time we're going to use the upscale to choose one image out of the 4 images. The hash of the task that needs to be upscaled, which means that we can actually find this hash from the previous webhook module. The hash is over here. You're going to copy that. Sorry. Actually, let me just grab the hash somewhere temporarily. When I run the module, it will be there already, so I don't have to regenerating image again and again. You're going to pick this hash from the previous webhook. Then the position of the image that needs to be upscaled, we're going to choose number 1. Webhook URL. Once the user API has chosen the first image out of the 4 images, you have to have somewhere so it can output into. That's why we have the 4th scenario built for that. So we're going to click OK for now and save the scenario. Okay, create a new scenario. We're going to build the 4th one now. Custom webhook. Add, and we're going to call it choose image. Go OK. So it's listening to determine the data structure. That means we need to go back to this module and to run it. That's the reason why I copied the previous hash. Now we can have this hash to paste into this in order for it to run. Okay, let's see. Just waiting for it to establish. Did I put a webhook? No. Copy address to clipboard. First of all, and you go back to that module, and I don't think we have input the webhook yet. So basically, it's not really linked. Now let's run it again. Now this time it should work. Hash, again, copy and paste the hash into it. Go OK. Now successfully determined. Let's save this and call it social media bot part 4. Cool. The next thing is you're going to store this image URL into your Airtable for posting. The next step, we're going to use Airtable again. We're going to use the update record. Before we're doing that, let's go back to Airtable once more because we have the social media post, the content sits here. Add a sheet. Yes, from scratch. So we're going to call it image. Save. For this particular one, we're going to actually column A. It doesn't really matter that much. We're just going to call it article. Okay, and a single line text. And so column B, we're going to change that, right click and click on edit field. We're going to change that into image URL. And for the nature of the data or the column, we're going to choose URL. Go save. You can delete this assignee. Obviously, the scenario that we are building, we want that particular image that the user API just chose to go into the particular cell of Airtable record. So we have to find the record ID again. Click on expand and copy everything from rack. Then go back to make. So the base will be, the database is called untitled base. You can change the name if you want. It's probably easier to identify. This time around, instead of choosing the draft, we're going to choose image. So the record ID, paste, search, and we're going to close this. And the image URL will be from the previous webhook result URL and go OK. So let's run this. Save again. We're gonna copy this hash and we're gonna run this scenario here. So let's run this module and the hash will be the 4 image hash. Okay, let's see whether this one, the webhooks was listening when that module was running and it's triggered. It's been triggered. Here we go. Airtable update record. So this is the image URL. Let's go back to Airtable and have a look. It's been updated. If we click on the URL, image URL, that worked perfectly. So we finished building the scenario number 4. Okay, so this is the final part of the social media bot. Since we have all the posts, the content, the image URL, and we're going to link it to the actual social media platforms. Create a new scenario again. Social media bots part 5. Save. Okay. First one we're going to use is Airtable. We're going to extract the social media content from the Airtable. So we're going to choose Airtable and then we're going to choose watch records. Click on add and the connection type will be token again. It's the same token for the previous Airtable because we're using the same database. So the personal access token we have copied before, we're going to use it one more time. Go save. Right. And the base will be untitled base. First one, we're going to extract all the social media content, the post, the actual word. So we're going to choose draft. Remember what I said about the Airtable, that we had set up that column last modified. So this is going to be the one that triggering the Airtable over here in this module to pick up the data we want from the Airtable. So the trigger field will be last modified. And the label field will be approved. The reason for that is after you have seen the drafted post in Airtable, and if you like it, you think it's okay to post, you're going to choose yes. And that will be a condition for that particular module to pick up whether it should be sent through for the posting to the social media. So label field will be approved, and the limit default by 10. So we're going to leave as it is, go okay. So, and the next thing is, we not only need to pick up the draft post, we also need to pick up the image URL from Midjourney as well. So another Airtable and get a record. Obviously, is the same link to the same database, so we don't have to do anything here. Untitled database, and this time around we're going to use the image. As soon as the image URL has been updated in the Airtable, so we're going to get that URL record. The record ID will be, let's go back to Airtable and go back to image table and click on this one, this particular record or row, and copy this record ID here. Paste it in here and search. You can just close that and go okay. Right. Save, always save. We're going to add a router. So we will have, obviously, first one will be Facebook. Before we actually go on to the specific social media post, we need to set up a filter here. So click on this little wrench thing, click on it and set up a filter. So we're going to call the filter approved, because only approved posts will go through at this stage. Otherwise, it won't go through. It's just a final check for you to actually accept, content to be posted. The condition will be approved. And text operator, we're going to use contains, case insensitive, to go yes. Only the post would have yes will go through for posting. And you can just go okay. And the first one, we're going to link to Facebook. And for Facebook, because the type of content we'll be posting will be the text plus image. So we're going to create a post with photos. Yeah. Right. So you're going to add your link here and log in. It will ask you to log in if this is the first time you ever log in or link your Facebook profile into Make. Once you've done that, it will ask you to select the page you have. In my case, obviously, I'm not going to post it into my personal page. So that's just going to be the company page. The next thing is we have the photo URL. So we're going to choose download photo from URL. The URL will be from the previous Airtable, which is this one. So that will be in the image URL, this one. And for the message, it will be from the Airtable watch records, which is the first one. See, the first one is actually flashing when you click on one of those. I hover over any of those attributes. So the what we want the message to show up here will be the post. You can go, okay. Very importantly, you need to set up a filter here as well. Because in the Airtable, as you can see from when we link the Facebook module back to Airtable, so it was choosing the post column. But in the post column, if you look back in the Airtable, it will have different content for different social media platform. It was only identified entire column rather than different separate cells. In that case, you have to set up a filter for it to go into the right place. This filter you're going to set up here is for that purpose. It's going to be called Facebook, because only Facebook content will passing through. You can have a little emoji. You're going to use the social media. The filter is going to be the column for social media platform. Needs to have the value, contains value, casing sensitive again, Facebook. So only the records have Facebook for the social media platform column will passing through. Go okay. So that's for Facebook. And the second one we will set up for Instagram. Right, we're going to choose Instagram for business. And the module we're going to use is create a photo post. Right. Here, add your connection and log in to your Instagram to set up the connection with me. Then page is where you can select your company if you have multiple. Then the photo URL will be just the Airtable image URL from this module. And the caption will be from the previous Airtable and post. Same again, you have to set up a filter for the right data to pass through. So we're going to call this one Instagram. Put a little camera there. Condition will be the social media platform when it contains casing sensitive Instagram, the word Instagram, and go okay. Right. Third platform we're going to set up is for X. X, we're going to use create a post because at this stage, only on the paid version that you can post photos. Other than that, it's just a very short paragraph. So we're not going to be bothered with creating a post with photo or image. Once again, add your link, and the post ID will be from Airtable, the post column. And again, we need to set up a filter. It's called X or Twitter. X with a little bird because it used to called Twitter. And social media platform contains case insensitive. We're going to use X. Okay. One last one will be LinkedIn. For LinkedIn, it's way bit different because if you type in LinkedIn and create organization image post, go LinkedIn, create organization image post. Organization, Sagrada AI. You might found the way it's extracting the image file is a way bit different from all the other modules. You have to add a module in between to kind of extract the image URL. So the module we're going to use is HTTP get file. So we have to get URL file for the image. Go okay. Organization here. It recognizes from previous HTTP to get a file, which is the image file. So that's how LinkedIn module actually grabbing the image URL, which is a bit different from all the other modules. So you have to add an extra HTTP module in between. So the content will be same. Post from the first Airtable. Go OK. Once again, we're going to set up a filter. Going to call it linked in. The condition will be post contains case insensitive link in. Okay. Okay. Don't forget to save again. Right, we have everything set up now. Let's give it the test run. Run once. Here we go. Let's start posting to Facebook. It does take a little bit time for it to run through. Here we go. Facebook. Let's see. Let's have a look at X. Let's refresh. The CPPCC, yeah. Have a look at LinkedIn. Let's refresh. Here we go. That's the post over here. Okay, so everything is all good. It posts everything as it intended. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Pretty much everything you need to learn step by step how to build the social media platform for automating social media posts. But one thing though, we need to turn it on. If you don't turn it on, it won't run by itself. Let's go back and have a look at it. Number 2, 3, and the 4. Those 3 bots is actually triggered by instant trigger. Once something changes, and it's going to trigger it, and it will run by itself like straight away. So you don't have to worry about that. But still, you need to turn it on like what I said, otherwise it won't work. With number 1 and number 5, how I set it up myself is I want the RSS newsfeed to send email alert to me and update the Google Sheets every night at 9:55. So you can set a timer here. So I only want it to work like once a day rather than you can do it every day or at regular interval, 15 minutes is maximum frequency that you can run. For me, it's only just every day, and I've got to set the timer at however you like. I set it my one at 9:55 p.m. and you go okay. So what happens is every day at this particular time, the RSS feed will automatically working to extract data, to extract the news, and send it through everything. Send you the email, updating the Google Sheets. As soon as you select the article you want to publish your post on, scenario 2, 3, 4 will be triggered one by one. Then everything will be ready for you to look at in the Airtable. If you're happy with the post, you just change the status to yes. The last one, because it's not an instant trigger, so watch records, you have to run it by certain time frame or frequencies. So what I did is I set it up at 11:55 p.m. local time. Turn it on, set your timer. Okay, so once it's approved, you're just waiting for 11:55 for the Airtable to pick up all the records, pick up all the drafts and the image URL, and start posting. So that's the entire process and how to use Make to post social media posts automatically without you having to spend hours on it. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into the social media automation. I hope you found the values in this video and if you're inspired to start building your own system. Remember, the power of AI can truly take your online presence to the next level, allowing you to focus on what truly matters, growing your brand and connecting with your audience. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss out on the latest tips and strategies for leveraging AI in your business. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or experiences in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep innovating, and I'll see you in the next video.